You're listening to the Ecosystem Approach show. I'm Jason.
And I'm Patricia. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio.
We discovered that human potential is severely limited when you program humans like a machine, which is standard practice today for self-improvement.
The Ecosystem Approach teaches you how to uncover your infinite potential by using natural methods that are truly revolutionary. Join us now for the Ecosystem Approach show. This show is pre-recorded because it will be aired on Memorial Day. We're going to do something different today and show you our intuitive process as we work together. Today, we're talking about how conception happens from an energy perspective and what happens during a miscarriage or abortion to the soul. We will also talk about what you can do for a soul that is or has been miscarried or aborted. We are married intuitives with over 20 years experience who created the Ecosystem Approach for you. This is much different because we see human beings as ecosystems that need to be restored instead of programmed. We show you how to take an energy approach for internal discovery that is rational, practical, and useful for everyday life. Jason, normally we do this type of work prior to the show, but today we're going to do it right in front of the audience on camera. So, Jason, if so take it from there, Jason.
Okay.
We'll go from there.
So what we're doing today, if you normally listen to the show as a podcast, you might want to consider watching it on Facebook or YouTube as a video.
Okay.
Because I think you'll see a lot more, especially if you're interested in our intuitive process.
Correct.
And what people don't understand is that we normally do this before a show. I start and outline the script, and then we talk about it, and then we look at things that are relevant to that script topic.
And using our intuitive process in doing so.
Yes.
Okay.
So we basically go look. It's not like we, when we talk about refined intuition, it doesn't mean they just know everything. It means that when you apply your refined intuition to a specific topic or an area,
correct,
you get more and more information.
Correct.
Now, if you specialize, whether it's in health or a certain type of healthcare,
okay,
or we did a show last week about marketing.
Right.
You could specialize your intuition on marketing. Mm-hmm. You could specialize it on parenting. You could specialize it on mental health. There's infinite ways.
And I'm going to jump in and say, we've done well over 200 shows, correct, Jason?
Yes.
And they can go to and find those shows.
They can go to our website and find those shows.
Okay.
theecosystemapproach.org.
Thank you.
And but the point is, This is how we do it.
Yeah.
And one of the things about when Patricia and I are working together, we talk about this with our clients all the time. It's never about who's right.
Yes.
It's always about what's right.
Correct.
So we go back and forth.
Yes.
This is and typically the way it works is that Patricia goes and looks. Her ability to see and perceive is much more robust in terms of, she can look and smell. Mm-hmm. You see colors.
Mm-hmm. And there's even times where I can taste things.
Yes.
That normally, for what reason it wouldn't matter, but for the situation that I'm looking at, it does matter.
And in another way, and this may sound weird,
okay,
but you're more social.
Oh,
so you go out there and talk to other entities in the non-physical dimension,
right.
Where I probably wouldn't. It's like maybe
whatever. Yes, but the part that's interesting about that is when I go out there and talk to entities and look at situations of the past, things like that.
Other people's essence.
Other people's. Oh yes, by all means, other people's essence. What I do is I do a look and I collect things. They'll light up for me. I don't know how else to describe that, but they will light up for me. And then I will bring those things back and I'll basically for lack of a better way to say it, I will put them on the table, and Jason and I will discuss them and see what he sees, see what he feels, and then we'll put things together. And we have come up with some amazing things that not only matter to us, but matter to
You,
clients.
the audience. Yeah.
I was going to say, and then you, the audience.
And I think you'll find this topic really fascinating. But
So
one
do
other
I,
thing
yes.
about that, okay?
Okay.
We have this framed when we do the show,
Okay.
like I'm the expert and you're not, and that's really not true. It's my job in this partnership is to articulate the concepts, to be able to write them, articulate them,
Sure.
and put them out there in the world. And
Well, and by the way, he's a great writer. I'm not so much.
You know,
I mean, I can do it, but
and so what she does is, she's the
I'm the seer,
you're the seer,
the medium,
the medium,
the psychic.
I don't like that word.
I
but
know,
yeah,
but yes, I am.
clairvoyant.
I'm the clairvoyant. And a lot of what we're
The
talking.
ambassador.
I am the ambassador.
That's the word.
That is the right word. I like that. Thank you very much.
And I can see.
Yes.
My intuitive ability is as good. I don't have the detail and the clarity sometimes, but sometimes that's not even important. It's understanding what is important, which is my forte.
Right.
I love the big picture.
Yes.
So when we work together, she'll see something, and I'll be standing back and saying, I'll be thinking about what she's seeing, where she's just, when she goes out there and looks, she's giving it all back to me.
I am.
And if you ever listened to our show before, you know that we understand there's negative energy and there's dark energy in the world.
That's correct.
Which creates a lot of misconceptions, a lot of bad information.
Right, but we also know, let's really put this out there as well. We also know that by removing negative energy, seeing the negative energy, feeling the negative energy, and then removing it, we know that in that comes a clarity and an awareness and even an objectivity that we use to help other people and ourselves remove negative energy that makes our lives better and your life better.
And this is all about the ecosystem approach.
That's right.
It's not just to be the ability to see it and perceive it, which we think is probably less important than the ability to work with it.
Exactly.
And that's what we do with the ecosystem approach.
Correct.
So let's get started, because we're going to spend all this time talking about what we do.
All right.
But we'll keep talking about this.
Okay.
So
well, then let me ask the first question. Do you mind?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Jason, what happens when a soul comes into a body?
Okay. So that's what we want to figure out. And the way I would do that is to go talk to some souls that we know.
Yes.
We just had our granddaughter was just born a year ago. She just had her first year birthday. So we could go to her soul, which we were doing that before she was born. We were talking to her before she was born.
Yes.
So we can go to her soul and ask why she chose my daughter, her mother.
Exactly.
So let's do that.
All right.
All
right.
So
I like that
and
a lot.
we're just, for privacy, we're not going to use their names, but you know
Correct.
who I'm talking about. So let's just talk to her and see how she chose.
No, I'm already. It's coming in really, really fast. Jason just asked the question: why did our granddaughter choose her mother? That would be Jason's daughter, to be her mom. And the answer is that they have an understanding between them. They've had it for many, many, many lifetimes. They've had this understanding between them that they would help heal each other's pain of living. Because here on this planet, on Earth, we come here to learn. Nobody will dispute that, but we also come here to learn specific things for each one of our souls.
So then the next question is,
okay,
did she was it just about her mother, or was it also about the dad?
Well, right now I'm only getting it's about the mom, and the dad is very supportive. He's a good guy, like him, and he's
But the choice was for the mother.
The choice was for the mom.
So let's keep going.
Okay.
I mean, did she have other choices?
No, not at the moment.
So this was kind of preordained.
I would say the answer to that is I would say absolutely.
So, and this is what we talked about before, but you use the term contract.
I do.
They have an agreement, the contract
Yes.
that was from the past, before this lifetime.
Yes, but both of them have had different parents and different children, but both of them are still carrying the trauma, and hurts of this lifetime and past lifetimes. And they're here to heal and help each other out of those negative energies.
Very interesting.
Very interesting.
So this was a specific choice. So let's go look at your daughter.
Okay.
Who's not a kid anymore.
Oh, no, not by any means at all.
So
we all know that I had her very, very young.
Did she choose you? Go look.
Okay, give me a second.
And this is kind of loaded for Patricia because she has child type 1 diabetes.
And yes.
And I know Patricia always had a lot of guilt about that because she felt there was something about bringing her in that created that.
And it was my fault.
I've always seen that it came in. She had it before.
She did. She came in.
It was a form of depression. It wasn't type 1 diabetes. She had a form of depression,
right,
which expressed itself as type 1 diabetes.
And if anybody knows anything about diabetes, you know that you have to watch, for lack of a better way to say it, your P's and Q's. And by the way, that means pints and quarts, but that's not exactly what I'm talking about. But you have to really pay attention to how you live your life, and therefore, the answer is I can't tell you that she chose me. I think more she chose the family that I'm with, the family that I have, that I came in with.
We're out of time right now for this segment.
Right.
We're going to talk some more about this in the next segment because
I'm kind of fascinated by it because I've never asked that question before.
I see that there's so much emotion around this for you.
Oh,
so I'm going to look.
Okay.
I'm going to see what I see, and then we're going to start the next segment.
Okay. So with that said, in the next segment, we are going to talk about what happens to a soul when there is a miscarriage or an abortion. And this is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about what happens to a soul when there is a miscarriage or an abortion. We are married intuitives with over 20 years experience who created the ecosystem approach for you. This is much different because we see human beings as ecosystems that need to be restored instead of programmed. We show you how to take an energy approach for internal discovery that is rational, practical, and useful for everyday life. Jason, we left the last segment and you had asked me a question.
We were actually looking at why your daughter came in.
Yes.
And
chose me as her mother,
yes,
so to speak.
Yes.
Okay.
And so what do you see at this point?
Well, what I see is that she chose me because she came in to help heal the family I came from, and meaning my family of origin. But Jason sees it a little bit different.
I see that she was looking for a place. She had this depression. And it's almost
from past life stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
And that just like with the law of attraction.
Yes.
She was looking for like.
Oh.
And you were a teenage mom. You weren't in pleasant circumstances.
No.
You didn't have a solid family foundation.
No.
There was going to be a lot of trauma, and that felt right to her.
Well, because it's what she knew.
Yeah.
And now that one, I will agree with you on that. But I also see that part of her job now is to help heal the family. She's the given aunt, or she's the given older sister, and what she does is she really she really helps the rest of the family.
Well, it's also part of her astrology. Which leads to the next question.
Okay.
You know, she's a Capricorn. She has a lot of earth in her sign, and her ascending sign is Taurus. Her moon sign is Virgo.
Okay.
So for those of you who are astrology people,
Right.
so for her, cleaning up, making it right,
is what
fixing
she
it
is what she does.
Yes.
And by the way, I need to say this. My daughter's absolute favorite place to be is having her hands, and I mean literally having her hands, physically having her hands in the soil. It is her happy place. And with all of that earth that you were just talking about, it's right.
So getting back to the question, though, I don't know that healing the family. I think that's what she's doing because of her astrology, but it wasn't necessarily her intent, her contract, her agreement with you. To heal your family was, I don't see that the fact that, well, I think what she saw was the chaos in the family, and it's like said, well, this seems normal to me.
Yes.
You know, this is where I'm going to be.
Yeah.
And I think the healing the family came later.
Well,
as she started to come into her own. Yeah.
Yes, and to see what was going on in actuality around her.
That Capricorn thing, late bloomers. I mean, she's really she's amazingly practical when it comes to that sort of thing. So
that's true.
So
that's true.
You know,
but let's talk about the astrology of it all.
That leads to that leads to that question, which I've always been fascinated by.
Okay.
You know, our granddaughter, who we were just talking about.
Yes.
My daughter was literally in labor for like 3 or 4 days.
Correct.
And they wanted her to be born sooner. They know a little bit about astrology, and they wanted her to be a Taurus, but she ended up being a Gemini.
Yes.
And but I'm wondering, and let's talk to her and see if she was holding out because she knew that astrology, that for her natal chart, the minute you're born, you have an imprint that's astrological that determines who you are in a very foundational way.
Correct.
I wonder if those souls are choosing those times or not. And then the next question is, what happens when there's a cesarean and it's scheduled?
Well, we actually know someone who is a twin, and she was supposed to be the baby of the family, and she ended up being pulled out first from a cesarean. And but she knows, not only because of what she was told by her mother and doctors and so forth, but she knows that she was supposed to be the last one of many children. And she has never lost that, I'm going to say, imprint or that effect of that she was supposed to be the baby.
And I see that, although her astrology, the question is about her astrology,
right?
Would she have waited to change it? So let's talk to our granddaughter. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
Let's talk to our granddaughter and see if she chose that time, or if she just didn't want to. She was a little reluctant to come in.
Well, the answer to that is there's 2 questions there. Yes, she was a little reluctant to come in because she could see what was going on, in the world. That's kind of a scary place to be. And it had been a while since she'd been here. And then, but she also, has something to do, the timing had something to do with her and her mother together. There was something about that particular timing. Now, I'm not saying that happens in every birth. I'm saying that that's what happened in our granddaughter's birth. And the other part of that is that we all have guides. We have not actually talked about guides hardly ever on this show, but we all have guides. And the guides really helped her with the timing of her actual birth. for a reason.
So
I don't know exactly what it is.
let's go ask her
Okay.
if she's ever been a soul who was miscarried or aborted.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, there's no doubt in my mind.
So
And I've always known this about her.
okay, so let's talk about what the effect was.
Well, the effect, she was supposed to be, born. It's not what I want to say. She could have been born several years earlier, and she chose not to be born several years earlier because of the circumstances and the father. She was not about to be connected to that father because that particular father would not have given her the opportunities that the father she has now is going to actually help her with.
So for her, it was always about our daughter
Yes.
being hers, but she did make a choice about who she was going to be.
That is
whose
correct.
dad was. That's interesting.
Yes.
And so one of the things that I want to say, and this is everything that when we look in the non-physical dimension, it's never black and white.
No.
We're trained to think in terms of, well, how is it?
Yes.
Like there's one way that souls come into a body, and
We not only have choices in this lifetime, meaning the lifetime that we're living in, but we also have choices in other dimensions. And those choices, sometimes, yes, and I'm going to talk about, in this here on Earth and then in other dimensions, we have the right to make decisions that are in our best interest. But then there's also energies that keep us from doing so.
So what happens? And I know people. This is one of the reasons people are going to listen to the show.
Okay.
What happens when a soul is aborted or miscarried? And that's a good question. Mm-hmm. It's a hard to answer because. I want to break down how we would approach it. What I would want to. So go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
You said you had a tubular
pregnancy that miscarried itself. It did.
So go talk to that soul.
Oh, I already have.
Okay.
And by the way, I never had any other children after that. I've had the 2 pregnancies and 1 live birth. We'll say it that way. And but this second soul had actually, or the second pregnancy, the soul had never entered the body. Mm-hmm. It did not enter the body, and that was the reason it was such an easy thing.
So wait a minute. Are you saying that fertilization happened, but the soul didn't come through?
Didn't come through.
That's really interesting. A lot of people would say, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah,
because we're taught that
in conception, that soul comes through.
That when the egg fertilizes, when the sperm fertilizes the egg, that's the minute of conception, and that's when the soul is attached.
And that's not
always the case.
That is not always the case. Sometimes, or I would say a lot of the times, but not every time. And the other thing is I would say I had something to do with that. There wasn't a soul that attached itself. I didn't want any more children. I didn't need any more children. I was a teen mom, and I did not need any more children.
So people are going to ask, well, does that mean if I don't want a child and I get pregnant, then the soul won't attach?
No, that is not what it means at all. It means in my circumstances. In my circumstance.
So, and I wanted to look at this some more, and I was struggling just before to try and figure out how we would look at this, and
okay.
I can see that we're running out of time, but
For
we're gonna keep going with this because it's so important.
It really is, and here's the other thing. When I need to say this, when a woman has an abortion or a miscarriage, more often than not, my circumstances were not normal. We'll say it that way, or regular. More often than not, that soul will wait and enter a point of conception at a later date. And in other words, you're not doing murder. You're not doing you're not getting rid of or throwing away.
Well, we're going to talk about that in the next segment.
Good. Okay. So with that said, in the next segment, we're going to talk about specific things to do when there is a miscarriage or an abortion, or even during pregnancy and delivery from an energy standpoint. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about specific things to do when there is a miscarriage or an abortion, or even during pregnancy and delivery from an energy standpoint. We are married intuitives with over 20 years experience who created the ecosystem approach for you. This is much different because we see human beings as ecosystems that need to be restored instead of programmed. We show you how to take an energy approach for internal discovery that is rational, practical, and useful for everyday life. Okay, Jason, what are some of the things that people can do when there is a miscarriage or an abortion, or even during pregnancy and delivery?
You know, we were talking about this, and I'd like to really zone in on this.
Okay.
What happens to the soul during an abortion or miscarriage? Well, the answer is, and this may not be very satisfying for those of you that want certainty, is that it's up to you.
Yes.
And we're told that this programmed world that we're in. It says that we have no choice. We're victims of this. So if you have a miscarriage, you maybe didn't want a miscarriage. You really wanted the baby, and then it miscarried.
Which happens a lot.
It's a way of saying that soul is saying, well, it wasn't really right for me, you know.
And that could be, or the circumstance isn't right for me, or I'm not going to learn what I need to learn from this parent.
Or I'm going to, there's this idea out there that we choose our parents, and that is so simple, because we've been talking about this for years.
Yes.
Often souls are tricked to come into a certain, to have certain mother or parents.
Yes.
They're often deluded.
Yes.
They have delusions from previous lives, and those delusions that they can learn something by having some sort of difficulty, when that difficulty doesn't help them learn at all. It just ruins them. That happens a lot.
Correct.
We see that. So it's never that black and white.
Well, and you know what? There is one other thing we haven't actually talked about, is when a woman has a child and then gives that child up for adoption. How is, the question I have is, okay, and I've wondered about this a lot. My father was adopted. Jason's mother was adopted. It changed the entire course of their lives.
Well, I think this is the most important takeaway.
Okay.
And we do it all the time. It's almost like breathing for us. But we talk to those the souls, the essences, if you've heard our show before, my mother has dementia. We take care of my mom, and she has dementia. So we just talk to her essence directly.
Yes.
We don't talk to her. We talk to her essence.
Exactly.
And oh my gosh, we see it in real time.
Yes.
The effect those conversations
and what the clearing does.
Yes, it's not only the talk, but it's the clearing.
Exactly, and the clearing. In other words, clearing. What the clearing does. Let's make sure we get this out there. The clearing removes negative energy so that you can have clarity about what the situation is, or you need it to be. So
if you are pregnant, and in this time, which is a scary time for a lot of women, you just want, it's not the right time.
Correct.
Talk to that essence, talk to that soul, and say, thank you for being here. You can put it in your own words. Okay, I'm not gonna script it for you, but just create a relationship with that energy.
Okay,
and say, this isn't the right time for me.
And here's the other part. One of the things that you can do is clear the guilt and the shame of either being pregnant or not wanting the child, or having to give the child up for adoption, or having a miscarriage. I mean, We can go on and on and on about the different situations around miscarriage, abortion, adoption, delivery, and birth. There's, a billion different ways. The bottom line is if you start by clearing the guilt and the shame of either being pregnant, not wanting the child, or not being able to handle the situation, that sort of thing, understand that the child also wants to say, I don't want to be a victim either to any of this.
The minute there's some conception, there's a relationship.
The absolute.
And women are doing that a lot. They put the headphones on the belly and they talk to the
and
child
sing to them and
all those things.
Yards, yes.
You can do that outwardly, but you can also do that inwardly.
Exactly.
And that's what we do with our intuition
all the time.
Our grandchild, we've been talking to her, right as soon as we found out
I have to say, we haven't
that she was pregnant. Yeah.
Yes, when we haven't seen our grandchild, and by the way, I realize that I'm a stepmom, but she's still my grandchild, and we haven't seen her in 6 months, and of course I picked her up, I held her in the whole 9 yards 6 months ago, and when we saw her the other day, I made it a point not to do that because I didn't want to scare her. But she heard my voice and her head almost spun around. She knew my voice. And I realized my voice is very different. But the point that I'm getting at is there is memory. There is memory, and there's memory from the time of conception and even before.
We're taught that because they don't have the cognitive abilities of an adult.
It's not true.
There's still a knowing. There's still an intelligence that resides with the essence.
Well, and the other thing is sometimes, oftentimes, when someone has an abortion, believe it or not, the child doesn't want to be with that mom or here at this time or that sort of thing.
A miscarriage.
When they have an abortion, miscarriage and abortion, same thing. The timing. Think about it. Timing is so very, very, very important, not only for the child but for the mom, the parent.
And so what you're trying to say is that there's a relationship.
Yes.
And there's an effect from both the essence of the child and the mother
and the essence of the mom.
Yes. So when you're in a situation where you want an abortion, maybe you're hoping that you don't miscarry, it's create a relationship, start talking.
Exactly.
And one of the things that people are going to say is, well, okay, I can talk, but I can't hear. I don't trust that I can hear.
Right.
That, of course, is because we live in a programming environment. But that's a great reason to start using the ecosystem approach.
Today.
That's how you develop those abilities.
That's correct.
And we use it with my mom who has dementia. We use it in so many different situations.
We even use it with our dogs.
We use it for our dogs. We use it for our own health.
Yes, we do.
We go in and talk to a certain part of our body that's having a problem and seeing what the problem is.
Exactly. And by the way, we found out so many interesting things, but that's not this show. The point that I want to make sure that I get across is that, and we're going to do clearings in the next segment. The point I want to get across is that miscarriage, abortion, delivery, pregnancy, the whole 9 yards, clearing the guilt and shame, starting with that and being a victim to what the rules are. Those are a lot of the major things that really hurt not only the mom, but they hurt the baby as well. And we need to...
And the point is that you can do something about that.
Yes.
You don't have to be a victim to it. You don't have to say, oh, this is what's happening to me. Oh, woe is me.
Yes.
You can seeing it is one part. The second part is saying, okay, I'm going to take that energy and start working with it.
Exactly.
I'm going to start clearing the guilt, clearing the anger,
right.
maybe the frustration,
yes,
maybe the shame, the judgment.
And Jason, I have a question. Is it okay if the audience actually emails us and asks us questions about this, what to do about this and that?
If you have a question, you can email us at hello@theecosystemapproach.org.
Perfect.
And if
And we'd love to hear your questions, and we will definitely answer you.
here's the most important point, though. I think,
Okay.
I want to make sure that people understand.
Okay.
You're not a victim in this,
Right.
and you can change this energy. So whether it's you're trying to get pregnant, whether you're trying to conceive,
Yes.
or you're saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm pregnant and it's not the right time," you can talk to the essence of
Correct.
that soul,
Correct.
and start to work with it.
Yes.
But don't wait till you're actually in that position. Start now.
Yes.
If you're or if you've already had a miscarriage or an abortion, you can go and talk to that soul, and we're going to do that in the next segment.
Absolutely.
So what I wanted to do is teach you how to clear.
Okay.
And we're going to do it. We're not going to do as many clearings as we normally do, but we're going to help you with any guilt and shame that you might have.
Absolutely.
Or what to do if you want an abortion, how you would talk to that essence.
Or what you want to do if you need and want to get pregnant.
Yes, exactly. Both of them are appropriate here.
Yes, very much so.
So you can sit, stand, lay down. You can be walking. You can be moving. You can be getting breakfast ready. You don't have to be in a specific posture.
Correct.
And then we say and to eliminate. Gather up the feelings that we talk about, or veils and illusions or barriers, whatever they are. Blow them into the processor. There's a picture of the processor on our website. If you go to our website right now, theecosystemapproach.org, and sign up for our free section, you're going to have a lot of this information at your fingertips. So, so when we do that, just blow it into that processor. If you don't know what the processor looks like, then you can blow it into a trash can until you sign up for our free section, and that'll work too. So.
Exactly. So, and there's one more thing that I want to say. This show is going to be aired on Memorial Day, and one of the things I would like to do is I would like to say thank you to all that have given their lives for our freedom.
And we're going to do a clearing in the next segment for those people that have been traumatized in previous wars, so that when they return, they can come back in a way that's...
And that just touches me so much. So
some of the things you can do, yes.
Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to help you clear any trauma or difficulty around conception, abortion, bringing children into the world. This is the Ecosystem Approach show with Jason and Patricia. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to help you clear the negative memories and energies around conception, having a miscarriage or an abortion, or many other things that are connected to pregnancy. You ready to get started?
Here we go. We're going to start with this. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see. I have power when it comes to conception, abortion, miscarriages, and even the guilt and shame around things that have happened in the past, because I can clear them right now. Take a breath.
And throw that stuff into the processor. Remember, go look on our website to see what that processor looks like.
You have to sign up for our free section, theecosystemapproach.org.
Okay. So, and to eliminate all of the guilt and shame that I'm stuck in because of my past, because of my thoughts and the rules that I've been trained in regarding miscarriage, pregnancy, abortion, conception, and so on. Take a breath, everyone. You don't need that guilt and shame.
And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can consider the possibility that my training in terms of the rules, the absolute rules, the black and white rules may not be correct.
Yeah.
Take a breath.
Ooh, that's a big one.
By the way, whenever I talk to God, I don't see any sort of rigidity, black and white. This has to be the way it is. When I talk to God directly, I get this, hey, you're here to learn. You're here to make it better. You're here to, and use this energy stuff to do that.
Exactly. And I feel that I have the same experience that Jason does. And by the way, we didn't know that we had that same experience until we actually started talking about it. But the other thing that I get is that there is great understanding and great and the ability to listen for the right answers.
Yeah.
For the best answers.
Yes.
So go ahead.
And to eliminate the veils and illusions, so I can see, I can hear and get at answers by applying the ecosystem approach, and I can work with the energy by
Yes.
applying the ecosystem approach. Take a breath.
And to eliminate any victim energy that I'm stuck in, that you're stuck in, regarding the past and pregnancy in any way, shape, or form, or abortion, or miscarriage, or
Even giving a baby up.
even giving a baby up. You don't need any of that. It doesn't serve a thing. Take a breath.
And to eliminate the barriers, so that I can talk to the soul, the essence of any soul that I've aborted, that miscarried, or I gave up for adoption.
Correct.
And wish it well, and clear the bad things around it,
Yes.
clear any trauma that it experienced, so it can go on and have a great life.
Yes.
Take a breath.
And to eliminate any fears and even terror that I've done something wrong, when in truth, possibly the miscarriage or abortion, conception, you were supposed to be the vehicle, and it's okay to move on from all of that. Take a breath.
And to eliminate any guilt or shame that I'm holding on to for whatever reason, because of a rule, because someone said you did something wrong.
Yes.
Take a breath and clear that right now. Take a breath.
Well, and then I'd like to do this one, and to eliminate any blocks that are keeping me from being able to conceive because I want a child. I release and let go any energies, be them physical or metaphysical, that are keeping me from the conception of a child that I truly, authentically want. Take a nice breath.
And to eliminate the veils and illusions, so I can see the real blocks in my own psyche that are keeping me from conceiving.
Yes.
Maybe it's fears, maybe it's worries, maybe it's a relationship thing, maybe
Right.
it could be all sorts of things. You have to go and to eliminate the veils and illusions, so I can see that I might be lying to myself. So
big one.
And that's why I can't conceive. Take a breath.
And to eliminate any fears, terrors, and even panics that keep telling me that no matter what I do, it's wrong. I release and let go. That guilt and shame and that hurt and that fear, it does not serve me at all. Take a breath.
And to eliminate the veils and illusions, so I can see that even if I've done something that I think is wrong, I can clear the guilt of it
Yes.
and go on.
True.
Take a breath. Okay, should we activate life force?
I think we should. Follow me. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to activate life force energy, the most powerful energy that anyone has access to. I activate this life force so I can have control and be happy and healthy and have love and laughter and fun and be able to see with clarity what energies need to be removed from me and what energies I want to call in, so I can hold on to, so I can have the life that I want. Starting right now, pull it in through the top of your head, let it go all the way down your body, and you fill up any place where that negative energy was that we just cleared. Stop it at the tips of your toes, and now blow out any negative energy left over.
And to activate life force, so I can have hope to have control over my reproduction in a way that's good for me
Yes.
and the souls involved. Take a breath.
Nice. I really, really, really like that. And I want to do one more. And to activate life force so I can be happy and healthy and have laughter and knowing about what's right for me today and tomorrow. Take a breath. Jason, We have a special show tomorrow.
We have a special show. We're going to fill in for Dr. Pat at 11 a.m. Pacific time, and that show is going to be about metaphysical skills. It's an amazing show.
Okay.
I've really been wanting to do this for a long time. I'm at the point now where I say everyone should learn metaphysics.
I agree.
And it's not just any old metaphysics, it's the ecosystem approach.
Right.
You know, not all metaphysics is not one size fits all. But the way we do it, it's not airy-fairy, it's practical.
Yes.
It's for people that live in the world the way it is right now, and to make your life better.
Yes.
And in very important ways, it makes you smarter, not dumber. So
I like that part.
So if today's show has touched your heart, if there's something inside of you that says, hey, this is for me, I needed this a long time ago, or I need it right now, this is what you do to get started. This is how you can start using the ecosystem approach.
Okay.
Go to our website right now and sign up for our free section, theecosystemapproach.org. It's all one word, theecosystemapproach.org. And sign up for a free section. When you do that, you have access to a lot of content on the website, and you also have you get a weekly list of the clearings. So if you do the clearings every week, the clearings are cumulative.
Right.
So even if the topic isn't exactly what you need in the moment,
or what you think you need in the moment,
it's going to help you. It's going to open you up. It's going to remove that negative energy attached to you. And then
by the way, it works.
And then listen to our show every week. You know, we always do clearings at the end.
Yes, we do.
It'll help you. You'll start to see more and more, and you say, oh my gosh, I could use it that way. I could use it that way. It's going to be great.
Absolutely.
And then last thing, if you want to watch this, go to our Facebook page, theecosystemapproach.org, and you can see us on Facebook. While you're there, please like us.
Yes.
And the videos are all there. We're also on YouTube.
I love that. So we'll connect next. Oh, excuse me. We will see you, or you will see us tomorrow for the Dr. Pat Show, which is on Transformation Talk Radio at 11 a.m. Pacific Time and 2 p.m.
Eastern Time.
Eastern Time. Thank you, Jason. By the way, this is Transformation Talk Radio, and you're listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia.
Remember, your ecosystem is the most important one in the world.
Thank you for listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. I'm Patricia. Tune in every week as we discuss practical ways to apply the ecosystem approach and develop your potential to live your life on your terms. For more information, visit our website at theecosystemapproach.org.